Got the bubble wrap off. The best thing to do is to put it down flat on the ground. As you see here, there's a fork protector that comes on the bike, and that's a great way to keep it stable on the ground if you just leave that piece on. And unwrap your handlebars and you're ready to go. So the first thing you need to do is remove the protective plastic piece that goes on the end of the handlebars here. And that's not used, it's just for shipping purposes. Then you want to take off the Velcro protective pad. You do need this, so just put that aside. And turn this silver nut a couple of turns so that this is loose. This is called a wedge nut, and it needs to be a little bit loose, maybe about there. And maybe 2 turns from when you get it. That way it'll just slide down into the headset area. It's pretty straightforward. If you just watch, you'll see it just goes right in. If it's not going right in, it's just not loosened yet. Sometimes it's tight from shipping, and you just need to take the wrench out of the bag and just tap that little silver bolt, and that'll break it free. In case that happens, it gets stuck sometimes. So get the handlebars eyeball straight, tighten it by hand as much as you can. Then take the wrench, and you see on this side there's actually 2 opposing ends. It's the smaller of the 2. It's a 13 millimeter. If you want to use a regular tool kit, you can do that. It's pretty easy. You just give it a couple of turns, get it fairly tight. You don't need to do the final tightening at this point. You just want to get it so that it's stable and you can maneuver the bike. Then the next thing you want to do is just flip it over onto the handlebars, kind of like it used to do when you were a kid and you had a problem with your tire or your chain. So now it's resting on the handlebars and the seat. And you just take this little protective fork cover off, and that just simply slides up out of the way, and that is disposable. It's only for shipping purposes. Then you want to grab your front wheel and take these little protective caps off of the castle nuts, and then loosen the castle nuts about 4 or 5 turns, so you see about a 1/2 inch there. And these are actually cap nuts, and do that on both sides. Then take the washers in your hand and pull it away. I like to pull them away at the same time. Slide it over the fork so that it pops down, and then you gently maneuver these little, you may have to loosen it a little bit more sometimes, these little tabs here. You want to get those down into this hole on each side of the fork, and do one, then the other. Okay, once they're on, then I tighten this as much as I can by hand, and do the final tightening with the wrench. Again, it will only fit one side, will only fit that properly. If you do it on the wrong side, it'll be too much play in the wrench, and you'll have you can round the nut off or slip and hurt your hand. So just make sure you find the right one, and it will go on tight. And you want to hold it one side by hand and use the wrench on the other side. And I do a little bit on each side till I get it tight. There you go. And you need to get the wheel pretty tight. You don't want it to fall off, although the safety tabs will hold it on in the event it does loosen up. And just a good firm tightness. And there you go. Okay, so now you get your front wheel on. Flip the bike back over. Take a look at your relationship between your handlebar and your fork and your wheel. Make sure that it's straight. If it's not straight, if it's not so tight, you can actually move the handlebars and get it where you need to. Also, this is a time where you may want to make your adjustment for your handlebars. On your smallest kids, you're going to want to put it all the way to the bottom, and on the taller kids, anywhere in between, all the way up. Okay, once you've gotten the handlebar height to the right height, you want to make sure you put the Velcro pad back around the top of the gooseneck. There is a seam here that you can see that's sewed. You zoom in on that. And basically that seam should be going along the neck here, and that'll make it fit perfectly. So you don't want the seam this way where it's facing up. You want it facing along this neck here. And once you get that there, you take the Velcro from the left side, wrap that piece underneath, and then the right side goes over the top of that. And that's it. You're done. You're ready to ride. Go have fun, kid.